Providing affordable housing in Boston means protecting renters from displacement, but also providing more opportunities for owner-occupants. That explains the creation of a new mortgage product for first-time homebuyers, supported by almost $4 million from the city and developed in collaboration with the Mass Affordable Housing Alliance and the Greater Boston Interfaith Organization. To tell us about the new program known as One Plus Boston is the Deputy Director of the Boston Home Center, Maureen Flynn. Thank you very much for being with us, Maureen.
Thank you for having me.
Maureen, I want to start with why it's important for the city at this point to be promoting at least this kind of home ownership.
Sure. So Mayor Walsh put together a working group last fall called Removing Barriers to Home Ownership Working Group, and we had on the working group realtors, lenders, folks from the public sector, and we were all trying to figure out as a group, how do we remove barriers to home ownership, particularly for low and moderate income buyers and for families of color. So we have a low rate of homeownership for families of color and for LMI borrowers. We wanted to increase that. Mayor Walsh is very committed to increasing the homeownership rate for the city of Boston. It's good for the city, it's good for the individuals, the families, to own homes when they can afford them, and so that's why we wanted to try to figure out some creative solutions to the problem.
Now, this is not to say anything negative about people with higher incomes, but if the kind of buyers that you talked about don't buy these properties, they could also end up in the hands of investors too.
Absolutely. So every home that doesn't go to an occupied owner, doesn't made occupied ownership, then yes, it can absolutely go to an investor owner. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, but we really want as many owner-occupied properties in Boston as we can possibly get.
Now, I have another question. If somebody is, let's say, low to moderate income, is there anything out there they can afford, even with a program like this?
There is. We're building every day affordable housing in the city of Boston through partnerships with our nonprofit and some smaller for-profit developers. So we are working on building affordable homes every single day. We have a couple of different programs to do that. The Neighborhood Homes Initiative is one. And we do also larger developments, homeownership developments. So, and now that the state has decided that they're coming back into the homeownership subsidy game, this is a game changer. So we're going to be continuing to produce those lower priced affordable homes for those people that are going for a market rate home that for whatever reason can't get into an affordable product that we have. Then this mortgage product will help them get into those market homes, we are hoping. Doesn't preclude them from going into an affordable home either, but we're hoping to make those market homes more affordable.
And I remember the early days of the Mass Affordable Housing Alliance when affordable housing meant a three-decker and the tenants would help you pay the mortgage.
That's right.
These days, maybe we're talking about condos more often?
We're talking about condos, right, as a starter home. That's often the way that folks get into a home. It was the way I got in, and a lot of we're building condos, affordable condos as well. But we're also looking at singles and double, two-family homes as well, because again, that is still the way to pay the mortgage, is if you can rent out that unit to someone that really helps pay the mortgage. So we're building two families and three families as well.
Now, what about the kind of help you're offering the homeowners? And I guess maybe because it's more straightforward, I'll start with the financial end of this. How does that work exactly?
So with this new product, this is building on a product that the Mass Housing Partnership already offers. So they offer a product called the One product, and that is a lower interest rate, 3.5% right now, offered to folks making 100% AMI, area median income or less. So that's about $100,000 for a family of four. If you're making less than that in the city of Boston, you already qualify for a One mortgage, which is a great product. What we're doing is the One Plus Boston product offers an even lower interest rate than is currently being offered. So if you can afford, say, a $1,500 mortgage payment at 3.5%, you might be able to say, I'm making these numbers up, but afford something like a $350,000 home, you lower your interest rate, your monthly payments will go down. So that enables you to buy more house. So if you can, again, afford $1,500, a lower interest rate will mean that you can have a larger mortgage and therefore a larger home.
Now, when you design a program like this, I imagine one thing you don't want to see is flipping. I guess there's a way you're preventing that, right?
That's right. So the one mortgage requires a certain amount of time that someone has to stay in their home as an owner occupant, so that prevents flipping. We offer additional help at the Boston Home Center. So we offer down payment assistance, closing costs, things like that. That's considered a loan, not a grant, and so we put a second mortgage on someone's home that they only have to repay 0% interest. They only have to repay if they refinance or sell.
Well, you have a lot of background also with people who bought homes and the loan went bad. How do you make a program like this work so that kind of a mistake isn't repeated?
So that's a really good question. The one product already, in a way, protects for that because they're not allowing borrowers to borrow more than they can afford. So right now, currently, lenders in Boston and MHP usually say that someone that can put 33% of their gross income towards the loan product qualifies. They don't want to see someone going more than 43 or 49% of all of their debt towards their debt plus their mortgage payment. So if you don't fall within those debt to income ratios, I know that's complicated, but if you don't fall into those ratios, then you wouldn't qualify for the product.
You know, I have not been looking closely at loan products recently, but I wonder what else is out there, because are homeowners, or home buyers, I should say, tempted by some other things that might not be as good for them?
That's a really good question. So Mass Housing also offers a great product, and these products like Mass Housing and the MHP One product are sold through local banks. So the retailers, if you will, are banks like Cambridge Trust, Citizens, Santander, Boston Private, and the City of Boston Credit Union. They offer these types of loans, and it's really a good idea to take a home buyer ed class, which we offer, and some other nonprofits do as well. Take that class, figure out what you're qualified for first before you go and look for a home. See what you can afford. Go and talk to a loan officer at a couple of different banks that you trust, that you know, that you may already bank with, and ask them what their products are. But don't go looking for a home first. Figure out what you can afford, and then go looking for your ideal place to live.
And a lot of people might say, well, why do we need a class? I know how much money I make. I just do a certain ratio of that. I mean, is it as simple as that? Or
it's not. I took the class. I was required to, and I took a class after I bought too, because it was required for the product that I got. I can't tell you how helpful it was. So not only learning about the home buying process, but also learning about from folks in the industry. So you have realtors coming to talk to you about what the process is, insurance folks to talk about what insurance products are out there and how you should be insured. So it's not a simple math equation. I used to carry around the calculations in my purse and say, okay, what can I afford? But I learned a lot, not just from the people at the head of the class, but also from my classmates, because we were all going through it at the same time. So it's really helpful to be with people that are going through the process and learning from each other. So I couldn't endorse it more.
Of course, another hazard of home buying is you could end up paying too much for something, and you realize later that you could have figured that out before it was too late.
That's right. That's exactly right. And I think with these products, with One and with the Mass Housing product and some of the other products that are out there, the loan officer is very important, that you trust the loan officer to help you through that, and getting information from some of the nonprofits that we have too, that are CHAPA certified. That's what you want to look for when you're taking a home buyer ed class. So there are a number out there, but CHAPA certified is the gold standard here in Boston and Massachusetts.
Of course, one other thing you can do with classes, you can think about having an inspector look at the property.
Absolutely.
That might save you some money or some hassles down the line.
And sometimes that can be at a disadvantage if you're competing with folks that don't want an inspection. But a lot of folks nowadays will ask for an informational inspection only, so you get to inspect the property, but you're not going to ask the seller to take any money off of it, but you know what you're getting into ahead of time. And most sellers won't look away at that. They'll consider having you do an informational inspection only.
I know one thing most of our viewers would have assumed that we're talking about a program for properties that are in the city of Boston, but if people want some more information, maybe apply, is there a way they can follow up on that?
Yes, so for anyone that wants to buy in the city of Boston, they should go to the Boston Home Center's website, which is through the Department of Neighborhood Development. So if you go to www.boston.gov and click through, we have a great webpage that provides information for both home buyers and homeowners, because we have repair loans too for folks that are already own. So look there, and we have information on products. You can also go to Mass Housing Partnership's website and Mass Housing's website just to get a look at their loans and figure out what might be good for you.
Thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you for having us. We really appreciate it.
Maureen Flynn from the Boston Home Center.